All right, folks, we're back, and we're going to be getting into game number 1 in a brand new best of 3 here shortly. Videos are actually just finished up as we speak, so that worked out pretty nicely for us.
Yay!
Get to Proxima Station.
Yay! Everyone's in.
Nate, if you're watching, I just want to let you know I think you're handsome and beautiful, and don't believe what anyone said about me making fun of your picture earlier, okay, buddy? Coming from a guy currently hiding behind the camera, not showing his face, I mean it sincerely.
That's what real heroes do.
Right? Actually, I gotta say, like, I know we've been talking about it a lot lately, but I have, recently we've had Wardy join in on our PUBG memes. So, it's been myself, Nathanius for the most part, Wardy now, despite a couple others. If you guys, I don't know, if some people here just won't care about the game, and that's totally cool, but if you guys want to see some sort of behind-the-scenes, off-stream content, I've been streaming with Nate a lot, obviously his channel, twitch.tv/Nathanius, I don't really need to shout out, but mine, because it's a tiny little fledgling piece of shit. If you guys could follow me on twitch.tv/RIF_KING, I'd really appreciate it. And you come enjoy our non-StarCraft stuff over there. But we are, of course, all here for StarCraft. The Corsair Cup. It's the losers match, a.k.a. the elimination series, and one of these two is about to get knocked out of the tournament entirely. A little bit sad, but we'll see who makes it through. He is coming from Korea, and we're not playing on some sort of middle ground concession on NA. This is the European server, so he is about as away team as it gets. The yellow Terran in the top right, KeeN.
In the bottom left, for the home team, it is Optimus.
And folks are discussing the whole last series in chat, and Hello Zergling brings up the fact that last time they fought, Optimus won. It's been a really fun back and forth between Snoot and Optimus. So when Snoot wins 2-0, I don't sit there and go like, oh, Optimus must be so bad. I'm like, cool. Now the overall series between them's a little bit closer, right?
Yeah, now the next time they play, Snoot will lose.
I did speak to Optimus, by the way, and he did say ZVT is still like one of his better matchups right now. So maybe that was just... again, like the dynamic of their matchup.
Yeah. All right. Well, now to TvT against a Korean Terran who plays in a lot of Korean tournaments. So, you know, logic.
Hey,
good at TvT.
Isn't he leaving like... he's got to be leaving like tomorrow or something, right? Or when do you leave?
He might be leaving Thursday.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm leaving tomorrow, but I'm
well,
necessarily
for those who haven't been keeping up to date, KeeN's actually going to be joining us in Toronto. He's one of the invited Koreans to come play in Gameland.
I leave Wednesday. I don't know what day it is.
I want to know if KeeN knows about the memeing that goes on with the KeeN clap, and then more importantly, if he'd be willing to replicate that in a video with me.
I'm pretty positive. Yeah.
I want to do something where like I do something really stupid or cringeworthy. You sit there, roll your eyes, and someone pans the camera right, and there's KeeN just like doing the clap in the corner.
As long as I'm rolling my eyes stoically next to Zest, then it's a deal.
Oh, I got it. Okay,
Hey.
Are you ready for this? So this obviously will not happen, but this is the imaginary funny setup in my head. I'll be trying to convince Zest to let you to like touch his abs or something, and you'll be like kind of rolling your eyes while I'm like pushing your hands onto his tummy, and then that's when we pan over and KeeN's just like
if you could not make Zest super uncomfortable, that'd be great.
Then we pan over further, Leonosh just sit there like eating ramen or something. Like.
I don't think Leonaka, what is he known for?
And
they did the Gangnam Style once on stage. That was about it.
Wait, and then we pan over one more time, and all the foreigners are collected in tattered rags, and dirty, and just sad and dejected. And one's even in chains.
I mean,
of the region lock.
Well, wouldn't the Koreans be the ones that are in chains in region lock? Isn't it like the joke that they?
No, but they've been freed. See, the
Hmm.
Koreans. This tournament's like the uprising, and now the masters are the slaves.
Oh, okay.
There's
say
an
like foreigner
artsy, deep
handouts,
meaning
right?
to this.
I love it. I think you should Toronto Film Festival while we're there.
Spartacus season 3.
Oh, Spartacus season 3 for all you guys know who haven't watched it didn't actually happen.
Feels bad.
It's terrible. Don't
Season
watch
2
it.
wasn't even very good.
Yeah, it was. Season 2 was only good because it had two of the like interesting characters. You know, whatever. Overall, it was not a great continuation. But damn.
Well, it's interesting to
Good
see
show.
Ravens come out, actually. Their damage has been cut so significantly that they're no longer like a must-have in the matchup, but they're still a really cool utility tool.
They went for basically the exact same builds, by the way. Like, I was watching the production tab while talking, and there have only been minor differences in, like, maybe an SEV there, Marines over there, gas a little bit sooner over there.
Minor differences, the SCVs. I get you.
Yeah. But on top of the Ravens, like, I really didn't expect the Raven to be hit that hard in TvT when it came to the change. Like, in TVC, I think it makes a little more sense that it wouldn't be as seen as much as it was growing in popularity, because it really was all about, like, how much damage can they do the drones initially, like, as fast as possible. For TvT, I mean, they're still great. They have that high priority that helps against tank pushes. Tank, like, turret versus turret sometimes is still the best way to defend against turrets. Like, there's silly stuff. And then, of course, Viking wars and Viking pushes can always be really big pains to handle. And, I mean, if you have a Raven and they don't, then that's a big deal.
And that Raven, actually, it was kind of impressive. The Marines were already on top of that the second the auto turret came down. That still was able to take enough damage to deal 4 SCV kills, which is not going to be game-changingly bad, but still just impressive to see how tanky that thing is. Leenock is widely known as the Towel Terran. Yeah, Leenock and his mechanical Terran style. I'm not sure if
well, he is
triggered
poorly
or trolled.
informed, so that makes a lot of sense.
I would
I
actually
really
love-
appreciate that.
Maybe this whole time we never picked up on the joke, but poorly informed just always says the wrong thing. Not just like sometimes, but like literally always.
I know we've pointed it out before when he said something wrong, but maybe you're right. Maybe it was every single time.
It'd be the best long con of a sub name ever, but scanning over here doesn't see any of the army, so a bit of a wasted scan for KeeN, unfortunately.
Huh.
This is kind of hidden back here as he bulks up the Vikings. Optimus, that is. I don't know how big of a deal Sky Control is going to be this game, but it is always nice to have. There's rarely a downside to it.
Yeah, very rarely, especially when they had such similar openers. If there's a Sky control of the Sky to one Terran significantly over the other, and it's like a 2-base push versus someone who went for a 3rd CC, well, then that's going to be huge. But since they both went for 3 CCs, their production was very similarly timed, just what they were producing was a little bit different. I think the time for this actually to be that great is kind of running out. Now, the Liberators added on make it a little bit more interesting, again, I suppose, as when he does siege up, he will have the control of the sieges. But this is like, you know, territory of like big concaves, who gets in position better, who does the drops better, not so much about like what their army type necessarily is, because a lot of it is going to be coming down to, well, purely the Marine tank that TvT does. I really like KeeN's map control here. Lots of Marines. Still would probably want sensor towers, just like Optimus is putting up, but not afraid of yet, not bothering yet.
Yeah, the sensor towers, I think, are one of those things where if you really, really, really are worried about drops and you're not confident in your map sense, then it's good to do. But it's way cheaper to spread out like even 8 Marines than build 2 sensor towers. So KeeN's approach to it is cost efficient, and of course these Marines, funny enough, just barely don't see the army moving out. This is going to kind of suck. Sees the clips of a tank, so yeah, glimpses the tank, scans immediately, confirms the army's right outside of his base, and Optimus with Liberators, a little bit unconventional, but not going to quite work out here.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like this is kind of what I was talking about. Of course, at a certain point, there's going to have a bigger army as you invested a lot into these very important units. So that certainly helped. KeeN had the Marine count to actually take a couple of shots of fire to kill the Liberators, and that was pretty important. But also just the game was like already headed to this kind of direction where it was less about the Viking control and more about just positioning an army supply. But she just sends the Marines forward now that they're not needed. Not wrong in doing that.
I say it's such a weird like StarCraft player moment, where those tanks are blowing away the refinery, right? And I'm like, how is that not splash damaging the siege tank? But then at the same time, I'm like, literally every other game that makes sense because it provides cover.
Huh. Well, okay, this is actually a beautiful surround. I thought KeeN was just going to attack to that third base. Instead, it goes surrounding the tanks. Vikings can't help with that. They just have to leave.
Yeah, the double drop in the middle I thought was actually going to lead to, yeah, dealing damage offensively, like the one drop here, and then you push in through the natural sort of third. But, oh, as you catch the Vikings on the way out, Optimus had these going for him, but not any longer. Ouch, that hurts.
It already sucks that they, like, for what they were going for him, it wasn't very far. Like, they got him a potential, and it failed when the Liberators died. Decent drop in the main base, only one tank, and the spread is pretty much instant with the medevac drop.
Yeah,
Marines ended up.
Upgrades are on par with one another. KeeN does have weapon upgrades going for him, but when it comes to the Marine fight, it should be pretty even.
Yeah. I doubt the upgrade advantage for KeeN's gonna actually show itself.
Oh man, I just realized that when a Viking lands, it should totally get benefit from ground weapon upgrades.
Well, I mean, when they like, I mean, how do they even add upgrades? Actually, upgrades don't make any sense at all. I've never really thought about this. I think you research something back at home suddenly means that Viking out in the middle of nowhere gets an upgrade advantage. Like, why does that make sense?
It's like, okay, so the old logic was siege tanks came equipped with siege mode. They just didn't have room for it. So you had to research the room for it.
Right, all right.
So it's like the logic is on the front lines. You, like, dumped out the toilets, snake, use siege mode.
So, like, when they get armor, like, is like, they finally just, like, paste on the metal sheets? Like, get out there. Oh, God.
They activate the electric coating that calcifies the speed force energy that surrounds the tank. Fuck me. If Nate's watching, I'm killing myself right now. But no, you're right. It actually doesn't make sense. Like, the guns, like, with Lings at least, you're like, okay, evolution takes process over time.
Like, pulling, sure. Or, like, the gateway unit. Well, actually, even
Marines are just, like, squeezing the trigger a little bit harder because they've been given the orders to. That's what the plus upgrades are.
Exactly. Oh, well. Optimus is doing some nice work with his drops, which I don't... Like, he didn't actually... He was later to the fourth base, so, like, I think he did need to do. But even if he didn't, I think there is still, like, that process where he has, you know, is maxed out, and he would have eventually gotten a fourth base. But this is just really nice. Kills a fourth, gets some SCVs, continues to have drops alive and threatening KeeN. KeeN is trying to get a good position, but, I mean, this is a, you know, both maxed out armies, basically, with equal upgrades. Optimus would really have to have a, you know, mistake with his army to let KeeN do anything.
Well, unfortunately, that's already kind of been the case, though. Like, he lost a lot early on with the Vikings and such. But KeeN invested in a Thor, I just want to point out, which I think is normally a little bit weird. But for those who don't know, especially with ground weapon upgrades benefiting tanks, but additionally the Thor, it's with its transformation mode that it's currently in, it's got some of the longest range in the game. It can snipe Vikings and medevacs alike from far away. This thing is a really good anti-air unit to have in your army. I really like that he added this in, actually.
Yeah. It's like he said, Liberators came out, and that actually was a weakness of that army without that Thor. The Marines were all trying to do something, and without that Thor, a Liberator could have come in. But this drop, it took a long time to break down the rocks, and in doing so, let KeeN, like, kind of let his guard down, so it ended up killing a couple of SCVs. KeeN should be quite careful with this army. I mean, it seems like a good enough position. That's a lot of tanks, so it probably is, but that is the type of position that, you know, you don't see attack from behind, or there's a good concave from Optimus, and you don't actually have enough of your army on the front lines. Sensor towers just everywhere for Optimus. Sees the army movement every single time. Upgrades equalizing once again.
It's such an awkward standoff for a lot of these tank fights, though, because both players actually have so many of them. We're almost in, like, this weird Cold War status where, like, you're just a constant standoff in the front lines. Nobody can afford to really dedicate to blow the other up because they'll lose everything in the process. Optimus has turned in a lot more starports behind this, which I find really interesting, though.
Yeah, seeing a transition. That might work. KeeN is getting a benefit here from having a low SCV count. Not quite as much of a bank, but still a bank. So the 30 army supply lead could actually be enough to break a tank line. That's quite significant. But it'd still be a very risky choice to make, especially up against a planetary, too.
Looks like a lot of people in chat are not understanding what we were saying with the upgrades, by the way. Because it's not about new units coming produced making sense, like with better weapons.
Yeah.
We're talking about units that are like, far away, like your troops are deployed elsewhere in another planet. Like,
Exactly.
Where are they getting the upgrades from?
I think actually when I was a kid, I thought that was the case, that the upgrades would only affect the units that I was making. So, like, I thought upgrades were terrible. I remember distinctly thinking upgrades are terrible.
Uh-oh. Well, speaking of
yeah, that would make sense.
terrible damage about to happen here in the main. Big Doom drop unloading. Almost uncontested, too.
Ooh, this is so good. I mean, it would have been a little bit better if the tanks were on the high ground there, but there's still that choke. So I was going to assist the main bases, and they are just completely destroying the production. It actually just taps out. GG.
Yo, that's gotta hurt. Optimus, you know, he still had like 100+ army supply. Like, he had an army ready to fight, but I think every Terran player knows, like, once your production starts going down, that's where everything falls apart for you.
Yeah. Well, that's TvT. And KeeN was constantly on the move with his army, whereas Optimus was playing a more defensive game with only 1 or 2 drops. So that makes sense that he was the one that got away with a... Oh, I accidentally invited them to a party. What the fuck? Doom drop. How did I even see the Muslim? What the fuck?
What?
I invited the Muslim to a party, but I'm not even sure how. Oh, the Muslim came online. That's what happened. I hate that feature.
That ridiculous crush of yours is really getting out of hand now.
I know, right? But man, there's some features that, like, I don't think I've ever, like, had a friend come online and immediately been like, join my party. Even when you, like, literally we come online to, like, do co-op together, I think we take some time. Whatever.
I love this idea where, like, you know, you haven't really thought about the Muslim for months. Then you see him on the announcement photo for WCS Young Shipping, and now you just can't stop thinking about him. You're inviting him to parties. Like, girl, get a grip, zombie girl.
Just stirred that flame again, man. What can I say? I can say that I'm at my sexiest right now. Sick, tired, sweaty.
I'm at my sexiest right now.
Good stuff.
The prime of your life, zombie girl. When you're in Korea, it's your favorite place in the world. Alright, well, we're ready to go with Blood Boy whenever the players are. Of course, again, if you're just joining us, guys, this is the elimination match of the group. Loser will die. The winner will go on to fight against either Snoot or Nurchio, which, of course, is going to be the winner's match, and we'll see who advances on from there. But let's just hop straight into the game, I suppose. By the way, just to, I want to double down on this, because this is my favorite fact about StarCraft 2, that I never, ever want to get lost in the annals of history. But in Heart of the Swarm 2 Legacy, I think it was, Siege Tank, or maybe it was to Heart of the Swarm. Point is, at some point in the game, Siege Tanks no longer needed to research Siege Mode. And Blizzard's actual reasoning for this, that was done through this, like, Project Blackwater backstory hidden... Oh, as a proxy. I'll finish up the story quickly. TLDR, Siege Tanks had bathrooms in them. And they said, let's make the Marines wear diapers instead who operate the tanks. And they're like, oh, okay. I guess we don't need bathrooms. We just pre-install Siege Mode. I want you guys to remember this because this is canon. This is real. This actually happened. And that's why Siege Tanks don't need the research anymore. But getting into Game 2 here for the Corsair Cup. Spawning in the bottom right. Up 1-0 currently. It is the yellow Terran KeeN.
In the top left is the red Terran. He is Optimus.
You know, I can get away with a lot of the BS Blizzard's throwing at us, actually. Like the whole Kerrigan Raynor love angle that is inconsistent and otherwise. But the Siege Tank Siege Mode one for me was the biggest, just like, fuck it. We don't have a good reason. Let's just throw something out there.
No, that's like so Blizzard for me, though. They really do sometimes have the stupidest things, which is nice to see. Like, they don't actually take themselves that seriously. That was, like, less seriously than anything else they've ever done, but I still like it.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I enjoy it. Don't get me wrong, but it is, like, the silliest of silly.
Yeah.
But, all right, T-Rex Reaper on Blood Boil. There is this little extra path to hop on, so this positioning onto Optimus is not too bad. It's not the full dedicated 3 racks, though, so it's going to be annoying, but will this be game ending? Time will tell. Juvia Loxer in chat says they miss my Squirtle. Dude, that Squirtle is still here. I'll never get rid of it. It's hiding behind the Kappa right now. It was given to me by dear Nadia, thus I treasure it greatly.
Well,
Actually,
Squirtle's not even a deer.
Well, the best thing was actually she made Pokemon things to give to all her subs that she was meeting up with at TwitchCon. And I got a Bulbasaur and I was sad and she quickly swapped it out for me. I was like, you're the best.
Oh, Bulbasaur was my first Pokemon.
These Reapers is getting a little bit scary, actually. Not for KeeN, but for Optimus. That one Reaper going down could actually start snowballing very heavily, as KeeN is getting that Cyclone out. It's going to take a lot to actually kill it. The SCVs are starting to go down, though.
A little bit. Optimus making this worthwhile.
The Cyclone's almost out. It's questionable. A lot of these SCVs are very low. It's going to pick off several more.
I think it's actually done enough damage. The Reapers are no longer supposed to just end the game because they really can't. You know, the Cyclones being so good, they can't just say, like, goodbye to the game. So they have to just kill a certain amount of SCVs and then macro out of it. Because no matter what, you force them to play at one base. Either they're already doing so and you're trying to match it, or they had to cancel Command Center, and as such, you're probably even ahead on your own tech. Either way, that's where you can get a lead if you also kill, like, 7 or 8 SCVs, which is exactly what he did. Now, Optimus is going for a Command Center before Starport, which I think is, like, a different way than usual of following up Proxy Reaper, but it is still a way to follow it up with a lead.
Yeah, trying to get more ahead. Unfortunately, though, the 2 Reaper split now is causing KeeN to be in the wrong position. So more SCVs go down for this, more mining time is lost. You know, he's at best going to be forced into like a 1 base all in now. This is rough for KeeN.
It is. Well, this is not making it any easier.
No.
Oh, man. Blood Boil, I mean, pretty good for a Proxy Reaper. KeeN thought he had it probably secured if that was going to be the case with his own 1 base opener, but clearly not. Actually gonna tangle with the Cyclones?
That was bold, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, he does still have to worry about an attack with Cyclones, with KeeN Cyclones, because he doesn't really have any of his own. He's not really producing from the factory. But, yeah, you usually don't win, even with a lot of Reapers. The fact that the Cyclone has health now, whereas before it was missing like 30 or 40 health, is a big difference.
So there's a big issue here. Obviously, Optimus has skyrocketed in income, but I didn't realize KeeN was also just constantly having 2 SCVs auto-repair, so a couple of repairs here on the Cyclone, and that's a lot of lost mining, unfortunately, plus minerals spent on the repair. I do like the depots coming down, though. This is a good way to block out Reapers from just having free reign, but still, it's not going to stop them.
Yeah, and it feels a little bit too late. You know, KeeN's finally just saying, like, F it, I finally have some defenses against the Reapers back at home. But, it's too late, you know? There's 1 Cyclone 30 seconds ago in a Viking, and I think the 3 Cyclones would have killed that. But now, 2 Cyclones in a Viking, I think KeeN, or Optimus, will definitely hold.
Actually, Vikings do more damage than Cyclones, I believe.
I think so, but they still die faster, I think, with the less health, so... significantly less health, in fact. But if it's not targeted, then it's like that damage is key. So it was only targeted after like half a second. You can see the damage that it did. Liberator's actually really good. That means that the Viking landing and dying is extra good.
Of course, for those who don't know, you cannot kill a Liberator with a full
shit.
lock-on. But yo, the SCVs that left.
Whoa!
Okay, so that's how you give away a lead. Oh,
yeah,
boy.
that's actually how you throw a game. Basically, this is too many losses.
I mean, he was desperate to kill the Cyclones because they were both low. Actually, I don't think the SCVs even get pulled if those were still like in the yellow. Like that was almost unintentionally great bait.
Yeah, especially on the ramp too. Like that was actually super bad by Optimus, who has given away his lead and exactly that he gained a lead.
He's doing some cheeky stuff here with the barracks. If he's paying a little more attention, wait, did the corpse just go on top of the barracks? It did. What the? If he's paying a little more attention, he could steal the tech lab, funny enough, or at least block out buildings from transferring around. I mean, this is going to be annoying while it gets some scouting, but ultimately, you know, this game evens up in a big way. KeeN should not have caused the damage he did. Let's be honest. Like, that just should not have gone down like that.
No, luckily Optimus got 6 more SCVs though, because before that was actually just straight up KeeN's favor. But now it is kind of back to an even game. Like their third CCs. Oh wait, no. Oh okay, yeah. Looking at production tabs a little bit too much. Never mind. KeeN, that's only his natural being produced and finishing up, whereas Optimus has a third CC. So actually, the 6 SCVs might not even have been enough of a lead for KeeN in that case. He needs to do more damage now, especially.
I would say lead with like an asterisk. Evening out the game was like going to be the best he could have hoped for through that, and he did achieve kind of that much. I mean, there might be 3 CCs, but nobody's mining over here, for example. The mules got pulled. The SCVs are not doing what they want.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. They're still, you know...
Actually, that's a transfer. That's not even SCVs pulled. He just transferred those over from the main.
There's not really saturation going on here, but that does mean that Optimus can kind of switch gears if he has to, like, use his money wisely into just building SCVs. 3 SCVs at a time, whereas KeeN only just gets a double SCVs at a time.
I can't think of the last time we're like 8 minutes into a TvT and a small amount of Reapers is causing this much pain for a player to deal with. He's had to leave several Cyclones at home, and he's not bringing these with the main attack. In fact, what is this attack? This is a suicide squad of units.
I saw you had a third CC, so I tried to hit you. Yeah, I think that's what it is. He saw a third CC, and he's either thinking like he has to do something, which is not wrong, or that he can do something, which he is wrong. I think Optimus has plenty. Oh, Optimus is also gaining leads in the tech department. Engineering bays, stim on the way.
KeeN loses a tank. Wow.
Alrighty then. Alrighty.
Okay, so game 2 is summarized in a game of throws, is what it is, for both sides of this.
Yeah. Alright, well that's gonna be game then. GG.
Alright, well, the Korean group may have been a bunch of 2-0s, but the Corsair Cup European group showing a lot of game 3s. So Optimus ties it up now. I guess we'll go to a scheduled commercial break, and we'll see you guys in 2 minutes with map number 3 to find out who wins and who gets eliminated from the tournament. All right, we're back, folks. We're getting into game number 3. Things are tied up 1-1. And there's a couple of key things to go over real quick. First off, folks in chat are asking about the server for this, and it's not that we've pulled the wool over yours or KeeN's eyes. It's been very clearly a European server-based tournament for almost 2 years now. We're actually almost a year and a half into the Corsair Cup in general. So this is something KeeN's been agreed to by showing up and playing, and he's done this every single week for like the last while. It's those who want to feel bad in chat for him don't. It's his choice, and he's been fine living with it. Secondly, it is needing to be noted that Cyan is a weeb. And then third and finally, we have another proxy coming in. So in the bottom right, we do have the yellow Terran player, KeeN.
In the top left, as the red Terran, it is Optimus, who is proxying again. I don't know if it does as much damage, but KeeN has yet to throw down a second gas, so it might just actually do even more damage. It might actually be game-ending.
Yeah, if KeeN reaches for a faster command center.
There's the gas, there's the second barracks. Alright, good stuff.
This is interesting, though, because you gotta wonder to a degree, is this like a blind counter, and he's just trying to predict, like, okay, you know, oh, 400 Terran got a game off of me, he's probably gonna stick with the same strategy. Or is this him intending to do his own version of the harass, but just clearly not the proxied version?
Yeah. I feel like the Cyclone is actually still the best way to defend. Like, he wasn't wrong in what he did last game. It's a very easy defense.
Well,
but
I think last game, what screwed him mostly was the fact that it was Blood Boil.
That's true. Blood Boil, a good map for proxies. But he is keeping... Well, I think... Unless you're very confident, I think you do keep that Reaper at home, the first one anyways. But we'll see. He should keep the second Reaper at home, too, seeing that this Reaper is so fast. It looks like KeeN could have afforded a command center eventually with this build, as it sends SCV to the natural, but now have to focus entirely on defending against this. Pretty sure the timing tells him.
The one SCV pull there is actually pretty critical. Unfortunately, he's got to buy a little bit more time for the other Reaper to come out. But yeah, soaking a couple of hits and letting his Reapers live through this is absolutely worth losing an SCV over if you have to, but oh, not if he doesn't get that other Reaper.
He could chase now, though, maybe?
It's so risky.
It is, yeah. He gets a grenade to the face, too. Okay, yeah, back off from that. A little too far gone, a little too much health in those Reapers, and actually backfires as KeeN loses his.
This might be too much. I don't know they can stop this anymore. SCVs get pulled, but that might just be it. I think Optimus is about to eliminate the Korean from the group.
Well, that can happen. Reapers! That factory is still only halfway done, not being produced.
SCVs are not mining while every single one of them gets pulled in a panic.
This looks very good for Optimus. He doesn't really have to worry about being behind tech-wise. I mean, he still technically is, because there's no factory, but like not as much as it would have been if this was a factory after barracks. Is it? Well, that's TvT, and now we're on to the ZBZ.
Yeah, so unfortunately, KeeN will get knocked out of the group and receive 0 prize money for his troubles. But Optimus holds on there a little bit longer, and maybe, just maybe, he can have a better chance. Like if Nurchio beats Snoot, which I actually think Nurchio has the possibility to do here, Optimus and Snoot again for the rematch of the rematches, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's perhaps getting a little too far down the line. Either way, a small commercial break will be coming up in a moment. They have to do their vetoes and such. But big thank you to old Jimmy for the 10-month resub. Says happy birthday, Rifkin. It's not my birthday yet, but thank you. Also, too early for me. I'm sorry we missed this about half an hour ago. Hit us up for a 24-month resub. Saying double Ace P badge, Ace Puck Champ hype. And then Nate, who should probably know he's up for us again. 36 months, 3 years. 3 years of dad jokes and trying to push you out off online casting gigs so I could get more subs before I became a big shot. Let's go for a ride on my motorcycle sometime, Graham. No! You guys don't understand. That was a death threat. That was a nice message to most, but it was actually a death threat, and now I fear for my life.
Things that I get, kind of.
Nate kills everybody. Nate kills himself. It doesn't matter. No, of course, thanks, Nate. We like to joke around. Like, I've been obviously shit-talking Wardy, and Nate and I used to joke around, too. I think what's interesting, though, is a lot of the times, and this is actually just a fun little aside here, because I know I've spoken to several fans about this even in real life. There's not really bad blood, I want to say, between us, like, not intentionally at least, bad blood between us and anybody else out there. There's never been a situation where, like, Nate and I were like, man, I can't believe you got that fucking casting gig and I didn't get this casting gig, or like vice versa. Or like even with Wardy, so like all the jokes and the silliness, guys, I just hope nobody actually takes it too seriously, because there are people who have taken it way too seriously in the past. The only person I push out the casting gigs are Fear Dragon and, well, just Fear Dragon. Fuck that guy, right?
Yeah. I'm gone.
Yo.
Bye. Forever. Bye.
Slowly sliding away. What are you pushing down on the chair, or are you just like sliding out of your chair?
I was sliding out of my chair.
Like, this is actually a really cute moment here. Where you're just like this tiny little thing. You see your cute little bear thing in the background. The R2-D2 backpack in the corner.
Yeah, I look like a kid.
You are a kid.
StarCraft, guys. I'm Tokyo Boy.
I'm casting some StarCraft. It's gonna be really fun. I'm so excited. Alright. Anyways, like I said, guys, we're gonna make a commercial break real quick as we get into this next series. Snoot and Nurchio are almost done vetoes, so this will be quick. I'll see you guys soon.